welcome back, my peeps. So I got another quick tutorial for you guys. So we're gonna make some of these crunch strawberry crunch ice cream bars. I made this one about, I think, in 2018 or 2019. I remember this because I used model light to make this. I shaped it by hand, and I've got the model light from AC Moore. So I don't know how long ago, but I know I got this when the model light when AC Moore was still around, because that was the only place you could get model light, because Michael's didn't sell model light. So anyway, I made this, and then I painted the middle so it looked like, you know, when you take a bite, how the inside looks, right? So we're gonna make some of these, but I also made these two with, I made this with foam, like a piece of foam. I use clay for this one, but I use foam for this one. I don't know if you could really see, but you can see like the little ridges of the foam in there. So I was thinking that you don't need clay, you don't need a mold, you don't need anything. All you need is some foam and a template. If you could get one, I have this template, which I can list down below. You could just cut it out and make, this one is a little bit smaller than that one, not too much smaller, but I could add another template onto this and make it a smaller size, like maybe something like this, or even, you know, like smaller like that. I got so many of these bars, it's crazy, because I've been trying different materials, and I decided that foam would be the best because it's cheap and you don't need you know, you can find foam anywhere in the trash. So I got a couple of pieces of, matter of fact, this foam, I got it from the trash, not the trash, but it came in a box. I don't remember what I bought, but like when I see foam, it's like I see, woo, I'll be like, no, I can't throw that away. So I'm gonna cut one out, trace around it. Well, after I cut it out, I will trace around the foam. Doesn't have to be perfect, because you're gonna cover it up with the crunch part, which I'm gonna show you how to make in a minute. If I was to tell you guys how many how many times I started this video and how many times I had to redo it, you won't believe me. I'm not, I'll spare you all the details. So, like, if you want to, you could, like, if you want to, for it not to move around and stuff, you could just stick, like, a pin in there to hold it in place for you, if that's what you want, to make it easier. Because I know sometimes these things move around and stuff, and it's not the easiest thing to work with. I've got a marker here. You can do it freehand if you want. I'm one of those people that I need to shape stuff out, because, you know, I got issues. I'll be trying to do stuff as good as possible. So you could just, like, since there's a straight line here, you can just cut it straight like that. Only thing I hate about foam is that it, you know, it's messy. And just cut the other line straight. Cut this line straight like that. And then you can curve the edges as necessary. You can just go around it. Be careful with this X-Acto knife. And then you're just going to cut it out. And then once you get it out, you can shape up those edges if you want. This is why I really don't like styrofoam, but you know, you got to use all kinds of material to make your craft. And I really do try to keep it low cost. I mean, sometimes I put a craft in there that, you know, you might need a mold or something. But for the most part, I really do try to keep it low cost because I want everybody to be able to fake bake, you know. Hold on, let me get this. I can throw this in here so it won't be flying all around. Okay, so if you wanted to, you could get you a like a fingernail file or something and hit these edges. Do I even have a fingernail file over here? Okay, I don't know what my fingernail file is, but if you have one of these sanding blocks from Dollar Tree, you could use that to sand your edges, just to give it that little rounded edge. Not necessary, but it does help give you that round look. We're not going to worry about that. And you want to kind of round the edges over here a little bit, just to give it that ice cream shape. And I think this is the easiest way to go with the foam. Only thing is messy. And I know I got issues. I got to be cleaning everything up every 5 seconds. But I'm just throw this on the floor because I got to sweep anyway. Ain't no way you're going to escape this foam. It gets everywhere. Look. Bro. Alright, so now you're going to get you a craft stick and you're going to stick it in here. But you know what? I like to make my life easier. So this is what I do. I make a slit first. And then I stick my craft stick in there. Okay? Just makes it easier instead of trying to force it in there. And you might make a hole in the foam and all that. The next step is you are going to paint this whatever color you want. If you're going to make... Alright, first let me show y'all how to make the crunchies. So basically what you're going to do is you're going to get you a little baggie. And we're going to make some brown. So the crunchy part on there is made with, it's called K-Cob. I don't know if you can see it. K-Cob. And this is a pretty big bag. You can find this on Amazon. You can find this in pet supply stores. And if you don't want this big amount, this costs about $10 or $11. I'm going to tell you right now. You can buy smaller quantities on Etsy. I will link a seller down below. But you're going to pay like $3 or $4 for a small amount. Probably about this much. You're going to pay $3 or $4 for this much. When you could just go get you a whole bag and you'll have it for the rest of your life. I'm just kidding. But I'm just saying is that if you're really into fake baking, you will find uses for this. Because you can make carrot cakes with these crumbs because they look just like fake nuts. You can make, there's so many things you can do with it. So me personally, I would just go and get the whole bag. So in order to, like if you want brown, you're going to use brown paint. If you want pink, you're going to use pink paint, right? I'm going to use nutmeg brown for this. Now say you wanted to make an Oreo cookies and cream cake. You could dye these like a darker color, like chocolate sprinkle, and you're going to get this dark color. It looks just like Oreo cookie crumbs. But I want it to look like a real chocolatey clear. So I'm going to tone down the brown a little bit, not make it so dark. And I'm going to go with nutmeg brown. So you're just going to put some paint in there. Hold the bag up. You can close it if you want. And then just smear the chocolate around until you coat everything. You want to make sure everything is nice and coated. You know, mash it up around and stuff. And you might need to add more paint. It might not coat everything at one time, you know. Let me see. It looks okay. But you could add more paint if you wanted to. I'm going to just add a little bit more. And I think that's going to be it. So then once you mix this up how you want, you know, as you know, you get the color mixed into the corn cob, the cake cob, I'm sorry. You're going to take it and you're going to pour it out onto a container, onto like a flat surface or whatever. I really don't want that. It got green on it. Green. And this one got sprinkles. Let's go with that. Anyways, you're going to pour it out like this. Make sure you keep it, make it one layer. It got to be flat. I did this earlier, and this is already dry. It doesn't take long to dry. And then, you know, you have your brown for your eclair ice cream cone, ice cream pop. I really didn't want to put it on top of that green, but so we're going to take this and we're going to mix it with a little bit of regular cake, uncolored. Not too much, because you don't, you know, you want the brown to stand out. And then you mix it up. And there goes your crunchies. That's going to go on your ice cream. Okay, so but before you add this, before you put this on, there's one thing you need to do, and I suggest is that you take your ice cream and you paint it the color of this, the brown pieces you just painted, only because when you cover this with this, when you put the glue on to add this onto here, you might see through this, and you don't want to see any white parts. Okay, you really don't want to see the white part, so I suggest you paint it, which we're gonna do. And then before that, if you want a bite taken out of your bar, get a cookie cutter. You can cut it by hand, however you want to do it. I'm going to use this cookie cutter and just smash it down here. Hopefully I'll get a good bite out of here. Well, it's not working as good as I want it to, so I'm just going to use my X-Acto knife to cut out a bite. Okay, cut out my bite. It's hard to get through that styrofoam with a cookie cutter sometimes. Plus, that cookie cutter was kind of small. But and then, if you want, you could go in there with your sanding block, and you can file it down a little bit. All right, so we're gonna paint this. We are going to paint this brown real quick. Like I said, you only need like maybe one coat. You just want enough so that you don't see any of the white. You want to get rid of the white. Now make sure you don't paint the inside, even though we're gonna go in there and paint so it looks like when the bite was taken out, we could see the color of the ice cream on the inside. But we're not going to be too concerned about the paint job because it's going to be covered up most of it anyways. We just don't want to see any white. Okay, now if you want to make a pink one, you know, you paint it pink. And like I said, you could use If you have one of those silicone molds and you want to make it with foam clay, that's up to you. You can form it with foam clay by hand. Totally up to you. But yeah, just paint it up. Cover as much as you can so we won't see none of that white. Then you're ready for the next step, which is, well, you gotta let this dry first. Then after that, you'll be ready to put the crumbs on. Crunchies, whatever you call them. Some people call them crumbs. Some people call them crunchies. Alright. Out of all of these, my favorite is the almond one. Y'all like the almond one? Which is your favorite? Chocolate, strawberry? Oh, they make them in, I think they make them in other flavors too. But I only remember like the chocolate, strawberry, and the almond flavored ones. That was my favorite. Alright, so then you're going to go inside the middle of here. And you're just going to touch it a little bit. You don't need to make a big, don't cover the whole thing. Just make sure you get in the middle. Just to make it look like a bite. I mean, to make it look like the inside of an ice cream bar. There's no need to like do too much to it because it's not necessary. This thing keep getting stuck on your darn phone. So you're going to let this dry. I'm going to let this dry. And I'll come back and we're going to put the crunchies on, alright? Alright guys, so my foam is dry. So we're going to move on to the next and final step. I took all my crunchies and I just put them in a bag. And now we're going to cover this with the crunchies. But you could use my Mod Podge if you want. I would use the matte Mod Podge to glue this on, but Mod Podge is really like runny and it's not thick, so you're gonna have to keep pressing the crunchies on. I mean, if Mod Podge is the only thing you have, of course you're gonna use what you got, right? But if you have some tacky glue, which you can find this at Dollar Tree, I suggest this only because it's a bit thicker and the crunchies will stick to it easier. So I'm going to put some glue on here. I'm just going to use my finger to spread it around because when I use my paint brushes and stuff, sometimes I forget to clean them. And then you know what happens? I mess up a good brush. So I found that using my finger and then getting a wet wipe, which I'm going to grab right now real quick. After I'm done. So basically you're just going to go and spread that glue around. Try to get everything covered real good. Like this glue is pretty thick. So the crunchies will definitely, don't worry about this glue. It dries clear, so you don't have to worry about it being white or anything. Just make sure you get those crunchies. I mean, just make sure you get the glue in all the areas. If you need to add more, then you add more. But this is, I really suggest that you use this glue because it's thick. And the crunchies will stay on there very easy. With Mod Podge, you're going to have to fight a little bit with it. And it still works. The one I showed you, the first one I ever did, I used my Mod Podge. It works. So let me wipe my finger off because I don't want any of these crunchies sticking to my finger. Then you're just going to take them and just start throwing them on there. Simple as that. Now press them in, make sure they get stuck. Of course, some of them are not going to get stuck. You just cover the whole thing with the crunchies. In the thumbnail, you're probably going to see the pink one, which is the one that I first made, only because I like that picture. But it's the same. I did the same thing. I made that one years ago. And I've been meaning to get around to this, but it's just like I have so many projects in my head that I forget about it. Then I saw a picture of it. I was looking through some of the pictures I have on my computer, and I was like, oh my God, there's so many of these projects I need to do that I promised I was going to do, but I ain't never get to it. But I'm getting to it. Give me time. It's just so much I want to do. But my day job keeps me from crafting. I wish I could stay home all day and craft. Believe you me. Those of you that can stay home and craft don't know how blessed you are, honeys. Very blessed. And don't forget to thank God for that blessing. Because, honey, I wish I could stay home. But, you know, I always tell y'all, but the medical bills, well, not the medical bills, but the medical coverage, cost too much for me to pay on my own. So, I will be going to work. You know what I'm saying? How many of y'all feel me, though? The medical benefits, bro, out of control. There you go. There go your crunch bar with your bite taken out of it. So now, once this dries, now you gotta let it dry completely. I'm talking about like 100%. Once that dries, you could cover it in Mod Podge. Cover it in matte Mod Podge, not glossy, because if you cover it in glossy, it's gonna have a sheen to it, and it's not gonna look as realistic as it is gonna look with matte Mod Podge. Okay, so here you go again. Don't that look tasty? Now don't worry about, you see that white? Don't worry about that, because that's gonna dry and you're just gonna see brown. And that's why I told you to paint underneath the color of the crunchies, so that it could look realistic. Now if you want, you could make your pink one. Shoot, if you want, you can make your red, white, and blue one. You can make this whatever color you want. You paint the crunchies whatever color you want them to be, and you make your crunch bar however you want it to be. But come on now, don't you want to take a bite out of that? It looks so real and so good. Look at this one. He trying to leave. Okay. So guys, until the next video, stay safe, stay healthy, keep crafting, share my video, like, comment, and subscribe if you already haven't. And if you just, you know, coming to watch my videos but you haven't subscribed, why haven't you subscribed? We have good things going on over here. But that's besides the point, right? So like I told you guys, I'm going to be working on some old projects that I've done like 2 or 3 years ago when I first started doing fake bakes, but I never got back to them. But I'm going to do them. This is one of them. This is one of the first bakes I ever did that I posted on my Facebook, but I never got back around to doing it because I moved on to other things. But I am going to, little by little, cover all of the things. I got some good ones for y'all. When y'all see it, you're going to be like, oh, yeah, I remember that. I remember when you posted that. You know, that's, I'm talking about people that follow me on Facebook. They'll know when they see it. And another thing is May is my birthday month. So I might have a couple of giveaways coming up. I'm also doing a couple of giveaways on Facebook. Some fun giveaways over there. Because, you know, I need to celebrate. Excited for another year. And thankful for you guys. So, if you want to follow me, if you have a Facebook account and you want to follow me over there, Peep This Y'all on Facebook. And come on by and hang out with me. Tell me you coming from YouTube and hang out with me. I swear these things look real. So remember, you don't need to use foam clay. You don't need to use a mold. Get you a piece of styrofoam and get your crunchies. And you have some of these. Everybody gonna think these are real. Anyway, guys, I'll talk to y'all later. God bless.